So welcome back, John, to the
Yeah,
room.
thanks, John.
Another Arts of Letting Go live session. I believe Elaine's going to join us in the next 10 minutes or so, which is good. So yeah, let's jump in, shall we, to today's lesson 128 week on to of the workbook, which is one of those lessons that a lot of people struggle with. The world I see holds nothing that I want is quite categoric, really, quite final. It's one of those really hardcore non-dual lessons, and of course does have those, which a lot of people go, oh, but he doesn't really mean it. Surely he can't mean everything, but he does. So let's dive into it, shall we? Right, so let's go share. All right. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, all good.
Okay. So the world I see holds nothing that I want. That doesn't really need any translation. This is actually from Elaine. She sends me these illustrations, which just give yeah, they're quite useful actually. I don't know if you've been following them. I'm incorporating them into the
Yeah, I've seen
documents
some of
now.
them. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they give a different perspective. They got some illustrations going, so I incorporate them. So yeah, just read that commentary really, kind of an overview of the lesson to start with. Well, what's happened? So this lesson is meant as a kindness to us, yeah, from there. Yeah. Are you reading it aloud or?
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Admit to yourself that the world is unable to offer you.
No, just from the start there. From the
Okay,
top there. This lesson is meant
okay.
as kindness. Yeah.
This lesson is meant as a kindness to us. We have all had years of misery. We've all had countless disappointments, have we not? We've all felt our hopes turn to bitter ashes of despair. Who wouldn't want to be saved from future years of that? Admit to yourself that the world is unable to offer you real happiness. Rather than stop seeking what the world offers, the message is the world has never and will never actually offer you anything. There is only one real conclusion to draw from our private fund of misery, disappointments, and despair. That is that the world does not deliver on its promises.
Yeah, so that's kind of telling it like it is. And this is one of those lessons that, yeah, it's difficult for people because he's saying exactly the truth. There's no holding back here. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Now, if we're honest with ourselves, we'll probably go, but there are still things that I want in the world, that I value in the world. And this lesson is designed to get us to look at that and make the decision to let those things go. Not not to be spiritual or holy, but just because we realize that it doesn't work. It's never worked. That the world has always disappointed us. And whatever it is that we value in the world ultimately is going to be disappointing. So why do we continue to value it? Why do we continue to play the ego's game then when we've only ever seen that there's disappointment, there's despair, and we've all had that in our life. It's common human experience. Life is not always cracked up to be. It's disappointing. Even if you're supposedly one of these celebrity stars. I was listening to a song by Justin Bieber actually. I don't know if you know him, but he was a kind of a young star, and he's now I don't know, he's in his 30s. And it's really about his disillusionment with life. And yet, okay, so he's made it, right? He's got there and he's made it and he's worth millions and he's got fans and but the whole song is really just expressing this disappointment and he's had a very successful life and career by comparison to the average person, but there it is, right? So it just shows you, that even when you succeed in the ego's eyes, it's still going to disappoint you. And the lesson is, well, it's actually unable to offer you any real happiness. It is never going to work, so stop valuing it. That's really the very simple but profound message in this. And he phrases it as the world I see holds nothing that I want, not I should give up all value in the world. So no, it holds nothing that I really want. So why would I then value it, right? It's going to first principles. Okay. So yeah, any thoughts or comments on that? That's just kind of, as I said, a overall summary of the
It's
lesson.
good overall picture. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to read, I think just read the alternative. That's fine because there isn't really much
Okay.
translation happening there in the first person, the alternative. So it makes it more personal for you.
The world I see holds nothing that I need, nothing that I can use in any way, and nothing at all that serves to give me joy. If I believe this thought, I am saved from years of misery, countless disappointments, and hopes that turn to bitter ashes of despair. I must accept this thought as true if I want to leave the world behind and soar beyond its petty scope and little ways.
So thoughts on that? Hi, Len. Welcome. We just started, so I've just done the first paragraph of the lesson, which is the world I see holds nothing that I want. Yeah, so maybe just something that for Elaine, John. What's he saying in that first
He's
paragraph?
really saying that the world as we perceive it is is tricking us to think that we can attain happiness through its offerings, but in fact they only ever lead to despair, and all worldly aims lead nowhere, and we're far better off just letting go of those attachments to the world.
Yeah. It's a very, very simple lesson, but it's a very hard one to actually apply. Because nothing, this is again, completely non-dual. Nothing I see means anything. It's revisiting that. This doesn't offer me anything. So if I value one thing in the world, then I value the world, I value the ego, and I'm in the thought system of the ego. That's the problem, see? So one thing, like your house, for instance, that you're dealing with in the moment, puts you in the ego's domain. It's very this or that, black and white. It's this or that. So if you let that go, then you're free of it. But if you value it even slightly, then you're making the illusion true, and you're binding yourself into this construct, which is only going to disappoint you ultimately. Bitter ashes of despair, countless disappointments, years of misery. Yeah, again, he lays it on thick because he's got to get us to see the truth, right? If we're not willing to recognize the truth and we want to sugarcoat the dream of death and disaster and make it into something it's not, we're never going to escape. That's what he knows. So this is what a lot of people struggle with the course. It's a bit too full on. It's a bit too like hardcore, full on. I want a kind of a gentler approach, a gentler spiritual teaching that sort of allows me to keep some of my illusions. It's really what they're saying. You want a half-baked spiritual teaching that's kind of got one foot in either camp. But Jesus knows that's never going to work. So, he has to give this message to us very, very clearly. which he does over and over. And yeah, here's another example of it in this lesson. Very clear. I mean, can you misinterpret that? If you read that first paragraph, is it really open to misinterpretation? No. It's very, very clear. People say, oh, well, it's interpretation. That is as clear as you could possibly make it. And very, very clear, very explicit to, no, there's actually nothing here. There's no wiggle room for the ego in that, is there? Which is then obviously the ego is going to resist and can get uncomfortable. And some people will read a paragraph like that and go, no, you can't mean that. It's too full on. And they won't want to continue with the lesson or the course. But if you're willing to kind of take it on the chin and say, okay, I'm willing to accept what he's saying, although I know it conceptually, I'm willing to actually do it and really free myself internally, free my mind from all these desires and fears and grievances and so on, which is how we value the world. Then I'm actually practicing the lesson. Then I'm really learning this course. So you'll do it or you won't do it. And the miracle is when you make the choice to do it, and then what happens on the level of form follows. But it's important to do it properly and really let it go and say, well, if I don't value anything in the world, why am I even attached to any outcome at all, right? It offers me nothing that I want. So this is a complete letting go of all outcome orientation. Just letting it all go into the nothingness it really is. And then paradoxically, the Holy Spirit's in charge, and then these outcomes in the world of time and space can flow forward in quite a beneficial, beneficent way. That's the miracle. But it's not like you're desiring them and fearing them and craving them and stressing about them. That's gone. They just happen organically, naturally, in a flowing way from this state of letting go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle with this, because a lot of people try and use the course to somehow manifest what they want in the world, which is a misinterpretation of it. That's not what it's about. It's about really genuinely letting go and then trusting the Holy Spirit that whatever needs to then happen in the world will happen, and that when you need it, the guidance will come, but you're not in charge of those outcomes anymore. In fact, you have very little interest. I think the course at one point says that you have zero interest, no interest in the past or the future. That's where this is pointing to. Just you've completely let go, you're trusting, and you'll be guided moment by moment. So if you need to do something for things to flow forward in a certain way in the so-called future, you get the guidance to do it now. And it feels right now intuitively, and you go with it, and things flow forward from that decision that you made under guidance. And that's the flow state. That's synchronicity. That's getting into the zone, into the flow of life, which is what all these great teachers and teachings talk about. But what puts you there is a complete letting go of outcome, which most of them won't necessarily make explicit. He's making it very explicit, saying when you can do this, you really understand this and let go of your attachments, then you open your mind and your life to that kind of flow happen, the true miracle. Okay. So any other thoughts or comments, questions on that? Elaine, you good?
Yeah, no, that's very clear. And life is always demonstrating it each and every day. And some days more than others. I can't believe this. Just briefly, we've been told that we've got these termites. I think I mentioned it last year. And they're back again. So the company advised that we just get the whole ceiling taken off and get it treated and done once and for all. And I thought, well, okay, yeah, better safe than sorry. He's opened and he's taken the whole ceiling off in the bathroom and in the bedroom. And there's nothing wrong with the beams. Wow. So we've done all that for nothing. So now we've got a bedroom without a ceiling and a bathroom without a ceiling. Right. And we've got pet sitters coming in just under 3 weeks. And I said, I said, at least could you try and get it half decent for her? So outcome, my outcome orient, I just thought, no, I want safety because I just don't want the idea of the whole thing breaking down. And it was the safety that was in the back of my mind. So I had the outcome that, no, I want to feel safe.
Yeah.
So
you asked the Holy Spirit for guidance or not?
No, I didn't actually. I listened to the egos telling me this is what you need doing. And so my ego just went, oh yeah, better do that. So there you go. There's a lesson.
Yeah, well, there's the lesson, isn't it?
Very much.
What this is trying to say to us, this course, is that you give everything over to the Holy Spirit. You say, okay, so I'm letting go of all of my own judgments, and I'm totally open. So on the level of form, things still need to happen. It's not saying that things in this world, don't happen. You don't need to make decisions. But on what basis are you making them? Are you making them from the ego's framework or from the Holy Spirit's? That's the question. And you see how insidious the ego is there. I mean, there's a good example. Fear, you
safety.
Got to sort this out because, okay, all right, I'll do it because, I don't, and then the fear in your mind as well, I don't want the termites eating away the ceiling, and then the whole ceiling collapses, and okay, I just want to be rather safe and safe. So then fear motivated it. Rather than the Holy Spirit. If you'd really asked for guidance and went, okay, so let me give this over to Spirit, show me the way, you might have been guided to do something else. Probably you would have. Okay, well, maybe you don't need to lift the whole roof because there isn't actually a problem. So maybe, don't listen to this guy. It doesn't feel intuitively right. But it's illustrative of how our minds work. Are we only listening to one guide or another? Is it going to be the Holy Spirit or is it going to be the ego? And then the outcome follows. If you listen to the Holy Spirit, then it would have been a different outcome. You wouldn't have been disappointed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least...
Okay, so unless you listen to the ego and then you get disappointed, and then there's the lesson, right? So that's all good. It's all part of the process of awakening. You obviously needed that lesson again to learn this fundamental truth. And now, interestingly, I've just invited you into the session. I just called you up and say, okay, well, it's all flowing, and here we go. So that's how that's how it works. Okay, so you made a mistake, but it's just a mistake. It's okay. It's just a learning experience.
Well,
to help you learn who you are and you're not.
These lessons keep coming up for me, though. I've got a thing about the workmen in Tenerife, and it seems to be the same old, can you trust them? And they're all fly-by-nights, and they're this and the other. And of course, I think I need to change. I need to definitely speak to the Holy Spirit because it's the same old lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you've got a negative misperception there.
Yes.
Based on the past, you're then judging now, which is exactly how the ego works. And your ego says, well, don't be an idiot. You've had this experience how many times?
Quite a few.
So this one's going to be the same. You can't trust any of them. But then the ego's in charge because it's taking the past into the present moment and recreating the past in the present, and then that will continue on into the future. And so you're bound into the past. There's no scope for the miracle then. Whereas if you let it go and you trust, and say, okay, in this moment, it's a holy instant, it's a holy encounter. Just I'm open. I'm open to the Holy Spirit taking charge of this. And you hand it all over, you not only are going to feel more peaceful and better, but it's likely that it'll work better. That you might then actually get someone who's decent, who's good. But again, you got to let go of that because it's not about that. It's not about, I'm doing this because I really want to get a good workman to fix my house. It's not like, see what I mean? You guys are, okay, so I can do forgiveness because I want the outcome. And that's not what this lesson is saying, is it? You don't forgive because you want an outcome. You forgive because actually the world offers you nothing, and it's always going to disappoint you. That's the right reason. It's just it's a futile and fairly stupid thing to keep doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same result and not learning. So it's saying learn the lesson, And then the Holy Spirit's in charge. If you really don't value anything in this world, then you have given it over to the Holy Spirit, whatever the situation is. And then it's in charge. And then you just open to guidance. All right, well, show me. You know, should I or shouldn't I work with this person? Shouldn't do this? And then if you've really let go, you're now not controlled by the ego and past misperceptions anymore. You can be open to getting a direct instruction from this divine intelligence we call the Holy Spirit that's going, okay, do that. Go there, do that. And because you've cleared your mind of all of the false programming. So that's what forgiveness does. Opens you up to this intuitive guidance, which you can then get moment by moment. And that works much better than the ego because you're not then bound by the past. If you need to avoid something, if it'll tell you, it's not going to get you into trouble to say, oh, well, that doesn't feel right. But it's not the past that's doing it anymore. It's just it's a present feeling. It's a present intuition. And so it's quite subtle, this, but very profoundly valuable when you get this. Because if you can really just tap in and download instructions moment by moment from this infinite intelligence we call the Holy Spirit, everything is going to flow forward in your life in a much more flowing way, right? Because it knows the whole plan of the at-one-ment. It knows exactly what you should be doing now to further that plan, your own at-one-ment as well as everyone else's. And only it knows that. The ego has no clue about that. The ego is just trying to keep you bound into the separate self in time and space, completely the opposite purpose. Does that make sense, Elaine?
Yes, yeah, no, that's very clear. Thank you. Very clear.
Yeah, good. Okay, so read the second one paragraph first then. Nothing much to. Well, why don't you both read? How about that? So, John, you read the original, and then Elaine read the alternative. Just sentence by sentence.
Each thing you value here is but a chain that binds you to the world, and it will serve no other end but this.
Everything I value here is a chain that binds me to the world and serves no other purpose than this.
For everything must serve the purpose you have given it, until you see a different purpose there.
For everything must serve the purpose I have given it until I perceive a different purpose for it.
The only purpose worthy of your mind this world contains is that you pass it by, without delaying to perceive some hope where there is none.
The only purpose worthy of my mind this world contains is that I let it go without delaying to perceive some hope where there is none.
Be you deceived no more.
I will not be deceived any more.
The world you see holds nothing that you want.
The world I see holds nothing that I want. And everything I value here is a chain that binds me to the world and serves no other purpose than this. For everything must serve the purpose I have given it until I perceive a different purpose for it. The only purpose worthy of my mind this world contains is that I let it go without delaying to perceive some hope where there is none. I will not be deceived any more. The world I see holds nothing that I want. So it's just basically saying, yeah, we need not be bound by this world. There's nothing here that we want. It's all just, well, an illusion. It's just, what is it, a carrot in front of our eyes that we just keep falling for time and time again. And there's no hope. So, yeah, there's none. Just let it all go and stop delaying it.
So the hardest thing to do is this, really. You know, it's not difficult to realize that you need to let go of all the bad stuff. Challenging, difficult, someone downright horrific, awful stuff that happens in the world. We can all go, yeah, okay, well, who would want sickness and pain and suffering and misery and death? But we still value certain aspects of the world. Oh, but there's nice, whatever, cats and dogs, animals. I know pets are your thing. There's nice sunsets. There's babies. There's, we all have our stuff. There's good food. There's fine wine. There's hobbies, activities, football, whatever it is, whatever it is. So we value these things, and then that the value we place on these things holds us into the world, and keeps us bound into a construct in which all the awful stuff, pain, suffering, sickness, misery, and death, is bound to happen. Right? Which is why the Buddha was very accurate in what he said. He said, desire is the source of all suffering. Because it's the desire to have things in the world that keeps us bound into the system, the thought system of the ego. And it's only when you let go of all of that desire or craving, as he called it, that you free your mind into pure formless awareness of perfect love, or nirvana, as he called it. So this is saying the same thing as the Buddha said. It's just very, very clear and very explicit. I mean, there's no room for misinterpretation here, is there, really?
No.
You have to be dishonest to misinterpret this. Yeshua is saying very, very clearly what it is. There's these words are crystal clear, said, without ambiguity or equivocation, or it's just, will you accept that? And will you actually apply that? That's the question. And he knows that that's difficult for us, which is why we have to be reminded of them, and why we have to practice these lessons. We've all done this lesson before, but have you really done it? Have you really let go of everything that you think you want in the world? Or it's, if you're honest, probably not. So, okay, you need to do the lesson again and again and again until you're willing to really let go of everything you want in the world. And realize, it's one of those really brutally honest lessons. You've got to be really brutally honest with yourself. And go, okay, I've got to really look and see, am I actually still valuing this world that actually offers me nothing that I want? But if I can realize that deeply, then I can set myself free from this. I don't have to keep valuing it. It's only my value of these things, my decision to value these things, that's the problem. The things themselves of the world aren't the problem. It's my decision about them that's the problem. Which is the essence of this whole teaching, of any spiritual teaching. Yeah, it's not the world that's the problem. It's your choice, your decisions about the world that's the problem. It's how you perceive the world that's the problem. Okay. So happy to go on to number 3. Let's switch it. So Elaine, you read the original. John, you read the alternative.
John, I'm going
to
have to go by 3:30. We can get done by then.
Yeah. Okay. It's quite short. So
Okay.
We'll get to paragraph 5 and then we'll do a meditation.
Okay.
Practice be still. Yeah. Okay. So actually, if you want to, then just read, we can speed it up. Just read the alternative, John.
Yep. Today, I will escape the beliefs that limit my awareness when I perceive freedom here. For I make what I value part of me as I perceive myself. All things I seek to increase my value as I perceive it limit me further, hide my true worth from me, and add another block to my awareness of my true self.
Okay, so thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it's reiterating the same theme. Any belief that I attach myself to will cause me to get stuck again in the illusion.
Can you see how that applies to your current challenge with your house?
Well, as we go through this, I'm kind of thinking to myself, well, I don't really understand what it is that I'm attached to, because it's it's not that great. It's not really worth.
So, yeah. So it's not really about the form. It's not about the house. It's about you.
Yeah,
See, you're attached to the self-concept that identifies with the house. So it hides my, as he says, limits me further, hides my true worth from me, and adds another block to my awareness of my true self. Another bar across the door that leads to true awareness of yourself is the original. And that's all the
it
ego is
isn't.
doing. It's using the house to block your awareness of your true self in the situation, as it's always trying to do. It's trying to use the world to block your awareness of who you really are.
It's nothing
That's the
special as
only
a house.
purpose of the world.
It isn't. It's nothing
Yeah.
special as a house, Jono. Um, and I understand that I'm kind of struggling to let go of the fact that it's habit.
Hmm.
It's the known as opposed to the unknown.
Yeah.
It's it's not really, when I think about it, it's not so much the house itself. It's just the letting go of the known.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's letting go of the self that you've attached to the house. You see, this is how the ego works very cunningly. It says, okay, so now you've got the external world, and now you're going to attach a part of yourself to that. So you identify, it's called identification with the house, and that becomes then a part of you, your self-concept. It's not really you, but it's who you think you are. And this is why I'm saying all things that I value here, as I perceive it, limit me further, hide my true worth from me, and add another block to my awareness of my true self. For I make what I value part of me as I perceive myself. Very, very, very important line there. I make what I value part of me as I perceive myself. So you're making the house a part of you and of your self-concept. Then it's very difficult to let go of the house because you're letting go of yourself. I mean, that's where the resistance comes in. But if you can see through this delusion of the ego, how can the house be part of you? You're an eternal, immortal being that transcends time and space. So how can any form be a part of you? That must be a delusion. Can you see that?
Yeah, I'm just struggling to really get a hold of what it is I'm attached myself to in this house, because it's nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
but that's the whole point. You see, there's nothing there. So that's really good. You're doing it, and you got this attachment to the house, and it's actually nothing of substance there. There's no value there, which is exactly what the lesson's saying. It really doesn't hold anything that you really want if you honestly look at it. So once you realize that, you can prick the bubble and just go, but what am I attached to? There's nothing. There's nothing of any substance or worth or meaning there. No real value there. So let it go. And that's the only way you're really going to let it go, right? You say let it go and I still value it. Well, you're not going to let it go because you still actually psychologically value it. It's when you see through the illusion of the ego as sport created this whole story, and there's worth here and there's value, and you see through the illusion of that it's just a mask. It's a veil of illusion covering the truth, that actually there's nothing there. There's no substance there at all. Then naturally you'll just go, well, that's just pointless to value this. Then there's a natural letting go, and you have let go of the self that was identifying with that illusion. And so that self then drops away, and that's forgiveness. That self-concept is then, that part of your self-concept is then gone. And that's exactly what forgiveness is and what it does. Does that make sense?
Yep, yep.
So it's subtle, but it's really, really powerful if you get this. Because you're seeing the nothingness of it. And then you're wondering, but why am I valuing nothing? Well, exactly. It doesn't make any sense, does it? Why am I valuing nothing? There's nothing of any true meaning or value here. So it's pointless. Just let it go. And then that's the natural forgiveness. Like, well, yeah, once you see through the illusion of the ego, there's really nothing here. So I'm just going to let it go. Then you will. Then it's an authentic, genuine forgiveness or letting go. And then you can genuinely move on. And then the house will sell because you shifted internally, you shifted your energy, and then that changes the outcomes on the level of form. Just naturally, without you then going, oh, but I have to manifest to buy none of that. It'll happen because you let go, you drop the attachment and you let go of your self-concept. So it's really, really simple, but it's not always easy to do. It's quite challenging to do because you're letting go of that part of yourself as you have perceived yourself. And that's developed over the last 20 odd years since you were there. So it's like 20 years of a self-concept that's developed. And now you've got to let that go to really free yourself. Okay?
Yep, yep.
Happy with that? Let's go to number 4 then. So Elaine, if you can read number 4 in the alternative kindly.
I will let nothing that relates to body thoughts delay my awakening, nor be tempted to believe the world holds anything I want, and so allow my belief in separation to prevent my awakening. There is nothing here to cherish. Nothing here is worth one instant of delay and pain, or one moment of uncertainty and doubt. The valueless offers me nothing. I cannot find certain worth in worthlessness. So it's just saying about nothing that relates to the body should delay our awakening because there's just nothing worth it. There's nothing here to cherish. So why delay and further your pain? Not another moment, let it go. Let go of all this uncertainty and doubt and stop valuing the valueless or the worthlessness.
Yeah. It's pretty simple, but to actually do it isn't simple because we're attached to this world and we do give things value in this world, if you're honest about it. Valueless offers me nothing. I cannot find any certainty of worth here. So what we're all trying to do, John, what you were describing there, we're trying to find value in what's actually valueless. And we can pretend for a while, but eventually the valuelessness of it is going to reveal itself, which is why we always get disappointed, yeah? Because it's actually valueless and meaningless and has no reality, it always disappoints us in the end. And that's why it disappoints us then, because it has no reality. It's not true. If it were true, it couldn't disappoint us because what's true is permanent and eternal and therefore can never disappoint. So he says in some other part of the course, the only definition of value is what is permanent. What is valuable will last, and what is impermanent is then completely valueless. So anything impermanent, which is the world of form, we know all form changes, all people, circumstances, situations change in this world. that's all valueless because it's impermanent. So it's all going to change and shift. And you know, that is a very simple idea, very simple lesson, but to get our heads around that and live in this truly forgiving way is the task, which is why we practice.
Actually, as we go through this, I'm realizing that it's not the house I'm attached to, it's the fear of being cut loose and having no permanent mode.
Yeah.
Permanent in the
So
sense,
you see what you're doing is you're looking for permanence in the impermanent.
yeah,
He says that at one point, I think, in the lessons. You seek for permanence in the impermanent. You seek for the eternal in what is temporary, and you're never going to find it there. You can't find it there because it doesn't exist there. It's the denial of permanence. This world is the denial of permanence and the eternal. So how can you find permanence in the eternal in the denial of it? That's then by definition all temporary and is going to change, guaranteed. It's the one thing that you can guarantee. It's going to change. Anicca, they call it in Buddhism, you know, the impermanence of life. It is everything here changes all the time. So why are you seeking for permanence in the impermanent? Because the ego is trying to make its dream somehow real and permanent by ascribing the qualities of truth to it. You're trying to bring truth into the illusion, but you can't do that. You can only bring the illusion to the truth and say, but in the truth of absolute permanence, these illusions are meaningless and valueless. Do you see the difference?
yes.
And it's
Yeah,
subtle, but it's very fun. You understand this, then you can really set yourself free. Okay, I'm trying to find what is permanent in the impermanent, and that's doomed to fail. Right? I will be disappointed over and over and over again because it's not possible. It's like the impossible cube that we looked at. You know, you're trying to solve this problem on the level of form. I'll just bring it up quickly. It's not possible to solve this problem. Yeah, look at the impossible cube. You can look at that and look at that and try and make sense of that. It's the one on the right. And try and make sense of it as long as you like, and it's never going to make sense, right? So you could spend a lifetime trying to make sense of that, which is what we're doing with the ego's thought system. Or we could just recognize it for what it is. It doesn't make sense. And it's never going to make sense. And so we need to let go of trying to give it value and meaning and make sense of it, because it doesn't. So what you're doing with the house is like trying to make the impossible cube work. And the more you look at it, the more you just like, kind of works, but then it doesn't. And it's very disturbing to our peace of mind. Because it just, something's not right, you know? You look at that and it's just something's not right. And you can try and try and try, but it'll never be right. That's what we do in this world with these things that we value. And the only answer is recognize the delusion of that it's foolish and it's never going to bring you anything of any value. And then naturally you're going to let it go. If you realize the foolishness of it and that it's pointless and it's never going to achieve anything, then naturally you've let it go, right? Once you see that. So that's his approach to letting go. It's educating us as to the valueless and the meaninglessness of it, so that we naturally let it go. Okay, so let's do just read number 5 and then we'll do a meditation for 20 minutes.
Today I will practice letting go of all value I have given to the world. I will let go of all the purposes I have given its aspects, phases, and dreams. I will remain aware that the world is purposeless and let go of all I wish it were. And so I will lift the chains that bar the door to freedom from the world and go beyond all little values and petty goals.
Okay, thoughts on that?
Well, it's saying, I choose in this moment to let go of everything I have given importance in this world.
Yeah. Good. So shall we do a quick meditation?
Yep, that'd be good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go into that then. Okay, so let's meditate on today's lesson 128. We're on to. So just making yourself comfortable. Sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Have your hands in your lap, close your eyes, and let's start off with a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises, the chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. You clench your sphincter muscle, raise the pelvic floor to lock the energy in. Maybe feel a subtle flow of energy up the spine. If you like, you put one hand in your heart center, connect with your heart space. Draw the energy into your heart, up the spine, into the crown of your head. Pausing at the top of the inhale, so maximal inhale breath. And just consider today's idea. In today's lesson, the world I see holds nothing that I want. Briefly open your eyes, look around. So whatever you see really offers you nothing that you want. And close your eyes. Anything internally, any internal images, desires that you have. So saying none of that is of any value whatsoever. Breathe in on the truth of that again. Even if you notice some resistance to that, just allow the idea to just sit with you, have a sense of making a choice to let go of the value. It's a choice in the end. So yes, I choose to let go of all the value that I've given to these things in the world and set myself free in the process. So exhale, blow it all out. Just says, today I will practice letting go. We practice letting go of all thought of values we've given to the world. We leave it free of purposes we gave its aspects and its phases and its dreams. We hold it purposeless within our minds and loosen it from all we wish it were. Just breathing in on the truth of this, breathing in the truth. It lies beyond, beneath, underneath, underlying all illusions. Then exhale on the truth of this. Again, have a sense of letting go. You're blowing out Oh, clouds, black smoke. Follow the stomach into the spine. Expel the lust from any air out. Just rest here. A few moments in this peaceful, calm, clear state in which the chains that bar the door to freedom from the world, as Yeshua phrases it, are lifted. So I lift the chains that bar the door to freedom from the world and go beyond all little values and petty goals. So just pause and be still for a few minutes now. Just watching your breath, breathing in and out through your nose. So see how far you rise above the world when you release your mind from the chains of false values. And let it find the level where it is at home. And it will be grateful to be free a while. It knows where it belongs. Free its thoughts and will surely and joyfully fly to accept its pure purpose. So let it rest in its source to be restored to sanity, freedom, and perfect love. Just rest in this perfect loving awareness, clean and clear of all attachments, all desires, all fears, all grievances, because none of it means anything. None of it has any value whatsoever. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Any thoughts come in, particularly of anything that you value in this world, anything you're struggling to let go of, to arises, just welcome it in. So, well, this is good. It helps me to see it for what it is. This is an attachment I need to let go of. Remind yourself that this doesn't offer me anything I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. So Exhale, just blow it all out like a dark cloud of black smoke, leaving you all those thoughts and emotions, really just nothing. You blow them away with the breeze of your breath. So nothingness they really are. Find yourself at the world I see, the world I perceive. Sinking inwards, going deeper and deeper with each breath into this wonderful, peaceful, calm, relaxed state of mind. Just sinking in to this wonderful, peaceful, calm, safe place beyond all attachments, beyond all desire, beyond all fear, which everything is perfect. Allow yourself to experience that perfection, which is permanent, real, and of true value. The only thing that really is of true value in this world. Sinking inwards, going down deeper and deeper with each breath into this wonderful awareness in which everything is perfect, whole, complete. Nothing missing, there's nothing lacking, there's nothing to fear. This is abundance. This is the source of all abundance, which can then manifest as miracles in the world. You don't have to ask for guidance, even on outcomes. You just go into this source of abundance and connect with it, feel it. And then allow the Holy Spirit to guide everything. We truly forgive, radically forgive. So just gently coming back into an awareness of the body, the breath, the senses, and the world. And on the count of three, you're going to open your eyes. So one, just breathing in. Another nice deep breath in. Noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile. Scan your mind. And notice any sticky thoughts. If there's anything still lingering there that you value in the world, just remind yourself that this offers me nothing that I really want. Exhale, and the truth of that, blow it out, let it go with the breath. So nothingness that it really is. Notice how the air flows out of your mouth, chest and the stomach suck back in. Weight of your body pressing down to the chair, your feet touching the ground. So two, just noticing all of your body sensations, what you're feeling and touching with your hands. Maybe there's a subtle flow of air in your skin. Breathing that air in, noticing any smell as you do that. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, noticing what you're hearing. Bring your attention back into the world, but in a very present way. So you're not thinking, you're not judging, labeling, naming, interpreting. Just this open, clear, clean space. Bring yourself to come back into the world in a more non-judgmental way. So open your eyes. On the count of three, just look around. And as you look around, recognize that you don't value anything you see as much as when you looked at it before. Maybe your whole perspective on the world has just shifted a bit by doing this exercise. Feel a bit less bound to the world, a bit less limited, because the world is not where it belongs, and you belong where it wants to be, your mind wants to be, and where it goes to rest when you let go of valuing the world. Your guide is sure. Open your awareness to it. Be still and rest. And so if you feel tempted again later on in the day, when you think you see some value in any aspect or image of the world, just refuse to bind your mind, to limit your awareness in this way, but instead tell yourself with quiet certainty, this will not tempt me to delay my self, capital self, to delay the coming of myself, my awareness of myself, because the world I perceive holds nothing that I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Say that 3 times to yourself. loud or silently. And as you look around the world, repeat the lesson. It's really about inculcating it into our minds so that we internalize it, and we can apply this really powerful lesson to anything in the world that we think we value, to free ourselves from it. So it is said and so it is done. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the meditation, and I guess the session. So thank you, John. Elaine, thanks for joining us. Really good.
No,
Hope that
thank
was
you. Yeah, no.
hope that was good. We'll
Okay.
do another one on Thursday evening. So, John, if you
Oh,
want to,
yes, with Kim
yeah,
and John.
Thursday
Yeah.
night at 6 we'll start. So, John, join us later on if you want.
I can make it at 6 actually this week.
Can you? Great.
Oh, and maybe
Yeah.
a bit of text, a little bit of text, maybe, or
Yeah.
whatever anybody wants. Yeah,
Yeah, we can do some text. No problem.
perfect.
Okay, so I'll see you both then. Stay in a non-attached flow. Just practice letting go of these things we value as they arise. If you notice yourself getting upset about anything, getting angry, getting irritated, getting fearful, that's a sign that you valued it, right? Emotions tell you that you're valuing what is really valueless and meaningless.
What about,
So when you recognize that and you let go of the thoughts and emotions, then you're letting go of the value that you attach to those things, and you're letting go of your self-concept. Question?
yeah, no, it's just, you just said all the negative emotional states, but we also have the other flip side of, excitement and looking forward. They're also the same, aren't they?
Yeah,
Attachment.
but it disturbs your peace. If you're honest about it, oh, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah,
It's not peaceful. It's like oh, I know I need to do something. I need to make something happen. And
true.
then
Yeah,
what does
yeah,
that set you up for? Disappointment.
of course.
Because
It's
I'm
best.
expecting a high, and then I go and, whatever I expected didn't happen as I wanted it to. And then I feel, somewhat deflated.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's why
Reminder,
the
good
teaching
reminder.
is no desire. You let go of desire. You also let go of fear and grievances, because they go hand in hand. If you have desire, then you're going to have expectations, and then you're going to have justification for grievances, because your expectations weren't met, because you were going to be disappointed. As you're saying, the world offers you nothing, because you're just always going to disappoint you. Your expectations, even if your expectations are met in the rare occasions, often you still feel a bit deflated. It was amazing holiday, wow, amazing. And then I come home and it's all a bit humdrum and ordinary. So I feel that deflation and disappointment, because I can't maintain the high. So not easy to do, not easy to practice this, but this is what he's saying, is this will free you completely from all of the ups and downs of the ego, and you can just be in this happy, joyful, peaceful, loving state all the time. That's the goal. Practically speaking, you are going to vacillate, things are going to move, you're going to shift and change, but keep coming back to center. Okay, so you moved away, you got attached to something, you noticed you got disappointed, but recognize it, let it go, and come back to that still, calm, quiet center where everything is fine, where there's just peace. That's the lesson. That's all forgiveness is saying we should do. It's really, really simple, but yeah, as we know, not that easy to do, which is why we practice. Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, well, thanks. It was very good timing. Thank you for that call.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you
I
very
felt
much.
inspired. It was happening. John said, he had the session to work on. I said, well, today's lesson is perfect. I was like, okay, well, let's do it. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you both on Thursday.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you both.
Look forward.
Cheers, Elaine.
Oh yes.
I'll see you on Thursday.
Just said
Should we
look
just
forward.
do
Yeah,
it?
no, yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
think it's just a
Thanks a
saying,
lot,
isn't it?
Joe.
Yeah. Okay,
Bye,
John.
John.
Bye.
Bye, Jono.
Yeah, I'll see
See
you
you
on
on
Thursday.
Thursday. Lovely. Bye,
Okay.
Jono. Bye.
All right.
Namaste.
Namaste. Bye. Okay, so that is a wrap for today. Thank you for joining, Lane and John. If you joined the session on a live stream or recording and you enjoyed it, then why not hit the subscribe button? That's a very simple thing you can do, and you'll be notified whenever I go live, which is once or twice a week. And you can also go to lifepool.com. You can see that in the background, the top right of the background logo in my virtual background. Just type in lifepool.com, and you can there sign up to my Telegram group, free Telegram group, where you can get an inspirational quote every day, blog post on that, which leads into the daily lesson from A Course in Miracles in its original and alternative form, as well as short breath breaks or mini meditations on the lesson to help you practice the lessons. And you'll be invited to join these live sessions as well. Send you the times on the Zoom links to join us. So check it out, lifepool.com. Why not sign up and join us? And I look forward to seeing you in the group or in one of these sessions, perhaps. Just keep letting go in the meantime. Wishing you good practicing and a very free, peaceful, flowing afternoon and evening. Bye for now.